Today, I'm going to be answering the question, does doing this make me seem desperate or insecure to the woman that I'm dating? And it's a question I get a lot after I give a suggestion or a piece of advice. And you wonder, okay, Ruby, if I take this action, if I say this, but does this make me seem desperate or insecure? And it's a rightful question to ask because you know that confidence is attractive. You know that if you seem desperate or insecure to this woman, a rejection is happening soon. So that's what I'll be going over today. I'll be going over exactly the behaviors or things that you may say or not say that trigger a woman to think automatically, this guy seems desperate or insecure. And we want to make sure you stay away from that, right? So before I get into that though, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm Ruby Love, the dating coach for the good intentioned gentleman. So before I get into the specifics of what makes someone seem desperate or insecure to a woman, I want to first give you the biggest piece of advice to make sure you don't seem desperate or insecure. And that is, well, to not be desperate or insecure. So let's go over that really quick. Desperation, if you think about it, is this like urgency and willingness to do anything to get the result that you want. And in this case, getting the girl to the point where you're willing to lose yourself and your morals and your values to do what you need. Desperation is an extreme need, if you think about it, right? Pleading, needing this woman, right? And then insecurity kind of is tied to that a lot in dating because it's about uncertainty and anxiety about yourself, this huge lack of confidence. So with those two things, the first thing I want to tell you is ask yourself and reflect, are you desperate? Are you insecure? And if you feel that you are, that's something to internally work on yourself first and foremost before you understand very specific behaviors. Because I will tell you this, and I know this sounds crazy, but if you are at all insecure or desperate, naturally, a woman will feel it. It doesn't even matter what you say. A woman can feel the energy and can feel when a man exudes desperation, right? And no matter how much I can tell you of specific behaviors to change, if you are that, she will see it. She will see it. She will feel it. So the first thing I want to say is if you do feel that you are desperate, or if you do feel you are insecure, to make sure to work on yourself, to find security within yourself, find self-awareness, find ways to accept who you are, and find ways where you don't seek approval from anyone else. Right? And find ways to know that you would like a relationship. It's okay. It's okay to desire a relationship, and maybe you have a little bit anxiety when you ask a certain question because you want, you hope for a specific answer. It's okay to have that bit of anxiety, but you're not desperate for it. You don't need it. You'll be okay. You'll pick yourself back up if you don't get what you want, and you will learn from it and you'll grow. You're secure within yourself. You know your values. You know your beliefs. You know your lifestyle. You know what you have to give. You know all of that. You just hope to find your person. Hope and want. There's a difference between hope, want, and desire versus need and attachment and fear and doing all of these things because you're needing this woman to approve of you because that's what will make you feel better. That is a dangerous place to be. And I don't want you to be in that dangerous space because if you gain a relationship from that, you're not going to have long-term healthy relationship. You're going to have a long-term healthy relationship with yourself. So that's the first thing I want to say right off the bat. Please make sure that internally you're not desperate and insecure. Once you know that, if you know, like, sure, I have my insecure moments, we're all human, but you're not doing all of this because of desperation or insecurity, fantastic. Now let's get into understanding what are the actual behaviors women see, just in case that you may be doing this and you don't even realize you're doing it. Even though, like I said, you're not desperate or really truly insecure about yourself, you just kind of slip up. So let's get into those behaviors. So the first behavior that seems desperate or insecure to a woman is when you pull back very quickly, when you accept her answer really quickly through uncertainty, right? When you don't hear something that you don't want to hear, you just immediately kind of pull back and you stop and you don't push any further, right? So let's use an example. I feel like a lot of guys are afraid to ask a woman how they're feeling about their dating experience with them, right? Asking, so how do you feel about us so far? Like we've been having 3 to 4 dates. Are you seeing anyone else? People are afraid to ask that because maybe it seems insecure or desperate. So let's say our answer to that question is, I'm not sure yet. red flag. Look, it's scary to hear that, right? And so what tends to happen is all of a sudden a guy just stops, a guy just pulls back, and you're like, oh, okay, you're not sure, okay. And because of that, it seems like you're insecure about what you just asked, right? You seem maybe a little bit desperate, wanting the answer that you want, and she didn't give it to you. So instead of challenging and confronting and understanding, you decide to pull back. So how not to do that is don't pull back. If you don't hear an answer that you want, ask a little bit more. Say, tell me more. What are you thinking? Help me understand. That shows security because you're not afraid to hear what she has to say. You're not afraid to be challenged, and that shows confidence, right? So that's the first one. Pulling back in any capacity, even when you ask a question and you don't even complete the question because you're afraid to ask it, so you pull back, right? That already shows to a woman that there may be some desperation or insecurity there. So that's number one. Number two is taking back what you said. It's really important to stand by your own questions, values, and beliefs. And when you take them back because she disagrees with you, or because she doesn't know, or like I said, because you didn't hear what you wanted, and you're like, oh, just never mind. Never mind what I said. Oh yeah, I'm not too sure that that's my belief. I'm not too sure that that's my value. Ooh, that just shows that you're not sure of yourself. That shows insecurity and maybe desperation because you're open to molding yourself, changing who you are so you can get her, right? So stick by what you're saying. Stick by, if you're going to say, I do like you, I do see a future with you. And if for some reason she gives this sort of facial expression where she's not too sure of what you're noting and can't really give back the same thing, but then all of a sudden you see that and you freak out and you take it back. You're like, oh, just kidding. I don't know if I see a future in this, right? That makes her probably just more confused. That just shows you don't know what you're saying, right? So that's number two, taking back anything that you said. Number three is the inability or fear to explain your thought process. This kind of goes back to the first point about being challenged, right? So if you don't hear an answer that you want, if you hear her being uncertain or saying, I don't know, I'm not sure, and you aren't able to explain why you're asking that question in the first place, or you're not able to explain your thought processes or opinions, or even just saying, by the way, it's okay, it shows confidence if you're saying, wait, hold on, let me think this through a little bit more, because I know that that's my value and I know that that's my belief, but I haven't thought too far of the why. Let me think about that for a second. See, so that shows even security as well. Right? But when you have the inability to explain the thought process, let's go back to you saying that you like her and that you see a future with her and that you wonder, what do you see in us? You ask the question, what do you see in us? What do you want from this? And then she, again, gives you an answer that you don't want to hear, I don't know. Instead of pulling back quickly, instead of taking back what you said, you challenge or you confront or you reason, you explain your reasoning and saying, yeah, I'm asking it because, quite honestly, we've been going out. These 3 to 4 dates have been so extensive. We've gotten to know so much about each other, and I do really like you, and I just want to understand where you are, and I want to make sure we're on the same page, especially if we're going to continue dating. I don't know, if you're dating other people, and I want to make sure I'm not stepping on any boundaries. I want to make sure that we're already not hurting each other or that we're not wasting each other's time. Okay, I gave that was kind of an extensive response, but I was kind of giving a bunch of examples in there. But you saying that explains to her oh, that makes sense of why you're asking it. And it makes sense. It makes sense why you want to know where we stand, because you don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. That makes sense. So it gives her more security in thinking through her answer, probably gives you better clarity, better answer. She'll probably think it through and give you probably a more expansive explanation when you're able to explain your own thought process. And again, that shows confidence. That shows you know who you are, what you want, and why you're asking what you're asking. Shows confidence, right? No way it shows desperation or insecurity whatsoever. So those are the top 3, I would say, behaviors that show desperation or insecurity and how not to do that. So the last thing I will share in regards to this is it's all about tone. It's all about how you're saying it. It's all about your nonverbals, right? So your tone, there's a difference between, I'm just asking because I want to make sure we're on the same page, versus, I was asking because I want to make sure we're on the same page, right? So it's all about the inflection. It's all about the strong pitch and security in your tone that you have in asking this, right? Also, on top of that, it's about your nonverbals. If you're sweating profusely, if you're fidgeting, if you're shaking, it's really important in these moments to take a breath. Take a breath. If you're feeling your heartbeat really fast, use a grounding practice to ground yourself. Breathe, feel your own heart, and ground. That's it. Because it's the nonverbals also that women can sense and see that can make them even feel a bit insecure or worried or wonder what you're really asking, right? So make sure you have those practices on the back pocket as well to make sure you're grounded and you're calm and you're leveled in your tone. All right, and that's it. So as a quick summary, what are the specific behaviors that seem desperate or insecure to a woman? Number one is when you pull back very quickly, you just accept her answer or insecurity, let it go, like sure, okay, sure, we can just be friends, right? Number two is taking back what you said, taking back your opinions or your questions. That shows insecurity. Number three is the inability to explain your thought process and reasoning, and doubling down on your interest and why you're asking what you're asking. Feel free to explain, right? And then last but not least, make sure to watch out for your tone and your nonverbals, like sweating and shaking and all of that, right? And by the way, what helps, a little hint if you're at the end of this video, if you feel like you're doing that, it's okay to acknowledge it. It's okay to say, whoa. I don't know why I got a little bit nervous there. Hold on a second. Let me just pause. Okay, I'm back. It's okay to say that because that helps her understand what's going on in your mind and allows her not to be confused in what's going on. All right? Okay, I hope this helps you guys. I hope this video helps in finding more security within yourself and finding that confidence and going out and dating, getting what you want, stating what you want, and I hope it brings you more success. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you at the next one.